Hello and welcome to Pod Popper's Place. Today we are featuring Kendra's card challenge number 15 and our super sponsor Not Too Shabby shop. I will be using sketch number 5 for today's video and some of these beautiful watermelon papers from the Not Too Shabby shop. I will be starting with this background stamp of watermelon seeds, and I want to do some ink blending over the seeds. Unfortunately, we recently had some flooding in our basement, which included my craft room, and so I'm going to be using some products that I don't normally use, like this old Stampin' Up! Craft ink pad, and it is very juicy, but I would usually prefer to use my Versamark. After covering this with some clear embossing powder, I use the coffee filter to pour my embossing powder back into the container. I have to say that the coffee filter is probably one of my all-time favorite crafty hacks. I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Ink pads to get some really good color on there. I got 3 colors that are all in the red family. I did hope to get this bottom one darker. This is a cherry cobbler, and then I have a real red, and then also some lovely lipstick, which is more pink. I do get a nice blend here, but it didn't quite get as dark as I had intended, but I was trying to be really careful not to get any splotches on the paper. I do go back and forth over the colors several times and just make sure they're blended really well. And I don't know if you can see the blend as well on camera, but I thought it turned out really nice and smooth. And then once I'm happy with the blend, I just take my dry cloth and rub off any ink that is sitting on top of the watermelon seeds. Next, I'm getting out all of my cut pieces for my Kendra's card challenge number 15, and they're all in envelopes and labeled for Not Too Shabby Shop's paper. And this is the green paper has the watermelon rind, which I think is super cute. And then because it is a two-sided paper, I can go back and forth and just kind of choose which ones work best together. And although I love the red with the seed paper, it does kind of go against my paper background that I created with the stamp, so I decided not to use that side. And then it calls for a circle in this sketch number 5, and so I'm cutting a circle out of the inside of the watermelon paper and also a black piece of cardstock. And I did cut those 2 different sizes. It calls for a 3.5 inch, and I cut one a little bit bigger and one a little bit smaller, and I'm going to use both of those circles to create 2 different cards here. For the first card, I'm going to use the watermelon background that I created, and I'm just gluing that onto an A2 size card base, and then gluing my black circle into the center of that, so it does leave a nice white border around the circle. And then I'm also using the black for my layering piece on that watermelon strip. Card sketch 5 calls for 2 of the pieces to be banner cut, and normally I would use my punch to cut the banner, but I'm just using scissors today, and I always am wary of using scissors because I don't always get the angles quite right, but it went all right, and my punch is somewhere in the chaos of the flooding, so I don't know where it is, so we use scissors. We will improvise here. And then the little extra piece is also going to be a banner, but I'm going to use that for the inside of the card. Often the card sketch cuts leave a few little pieces, and those are always optional extra pieces that can be used on cards on the inside or on the outside. And now that I have my all of my pieces together, I just need to decorate it, and so I'm getting out the ephemera pack from Not Too Shabby shop with all the wonderful watermelons and kind of playing with which one I want to use. There's a lot of great options with cupcakes and cakes and drinks and the cute little baby and different slices of watermelon, but in the end I decided to go with the drink. I thought that was a perfect fit for that size, and I do use a little extra piece of white cardstock on the back just to kind of make sure it's more flush because we have several layers working here. I also added some of these gemstones from the Not Too Shabby shop that matches this ephemera and papers really well, and I decided to go with the lime green, and I just thought it worked really well with the lime green of the papers. And I only used 3 here. I kept on changing my mind, thinking maybe I wanted to add more, but I do want to leave room for maybe a sentiment strip or something later if I decide to add that. And so because I cut out the circle out of this A2 panel, also I'm going to use the A2 panel and my circle that I cut out for another card, and I'm going to just put that on there. I did think, well, maybe I should have used an embossing folder or something on the black, but by the time I thought of that, it was kind of too late. And so there's 2 different watermelon paper packs from Not Too Shabby shop. This is the second one I'm getting a few pieces out of now that have a lot of popsicles and different types of looks with it. And since I wasn't planning on obviously making 2 of the sketch 5s, I decided to use the second pad of paper and just pull 3 sheets out of there that I had liked together. And then I wanted to use some green, and I have this stash of green scraps, and the only scraps that I had of this green that I really liked were these long narrow strips, and I just used that the way I would have used any other layering piece, because by the time you put this together you won't be able to tell that it doesn't go through the middle of the paper, because it does not go over on the ends of the edges of the paper there. So because the centerpiece is popped up on foam tape, I also needed to add some foam tape to the end of this strip here, but the rest of the card comes together exactly like the first one with the 2 banner flags. The only difference is I didn't have an additional piece, but I could easily add one of a banner to go on the inside of the card as well. While I finish up this card sketch number 5, I will give you some information about Kendra's card challenge. You use 6 sheets of 6x6 paper to make 15 unique cards. The challenge runs for 3 months, and this recent number 15 just started July 1st, so you have until the end of September to complete your 15 cards, but you can also enter to win each month, which means you would have 45 cards completed by the end of the challenge. And if you would like to enter your 15 cards each month, you can do that on Kendra's Facebook page. If you would like to support the challenge, you can sign up to be a KCC Patreon for extra benefits. Some of those benefits include early access to the new challenge, free card making kit or sampler, exclusive Facebook group opportunities, and other exclusive perks. There also is access to past challenges for paying Patreons, but you can access the current one for free on her Patreon page. Recently, Kendra added some SVG cutting files to her website, and those are able to be cut with the electronic cutting machines like a Cricut or Brother Scan and Cut. Be sure to enter the Hop giveaway in the description box below. Thank you for being here today, and I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Bye-bye.